Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, greeting you on this rainy Tuesday morning. It's September 20, 2022, and it has been raining and it remains to be dark here in Barrio Capitolio, Pasig City. I don't know where you are in the Philippines or in the world, but I can tell you one thing, the people I've been speaking with online are all sharing how the weather in their part of the world has started to get chilly. Okay, I can only hope that we continue having this cool weather, not necessarily rain all day, but it does save us some money from not having to use the air conditioner, etc. So anyway, welcome to the program, and thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers on One News, and especially those following Agenda on channels 8 and 250. Thank you also for catching us on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, let's get on with the daily starter. And it comes from Yvonne Sion or Sion. Okay, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb that you really are. It's very interesting passage, or well, not a passage, but a quote, because it is reflective of the situations we find ourselves. Deep down, we just want to be ourselves, peaceful, nice, etc. But because of the way life can be with the bullies, with all the hassles and people trying to step on each other, sometimes you just need to growl. You need to roar so people will respect your space. People will keep their distance, will not mess with you. And unfortunately, there is wisdom to those words. Sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb that you really are. Exert your authority, stand your ground, okay? Roar if you must. But at the end of the day, when the coast is clear, be the lamb and be nice to people. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Very interesting headline that I'm sure it will be cause for grief for some people who have been making so much money and causing so much misery. The headline of the Philippine Star today: Senators back Pogo ban. Okay. The plan to ban Philippine offshore gaming operators is gaining support in the Senate, with lawmakers filing a bill seeking to prohibit online gambling. No less than Senate President Miguel Zubiri has taken the position that the benefits or the perceived benefits from Pogo is so little compared to the disaster, misery, and deaths that it has caused inside the country. Senator Joel Villanueva has filed a bill that will declare online betting, gambling illegal, and will come with a fine for individuals and corporations engaging in the matter. Meanwhile, Senator Bato de la Rosa Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa is completing the study and investigation and report of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs to make its recommendations regarding the matter. Having said all that, we sincerely pray that the Marcos administration, the current Senate and Congress, puts an end to all online gambling, because whether it is Pogo or online e-sabong, too many people have died. We read a report that even the Chinese embassy made a request for the government and the police to rescue several nationals. 77 lang naman, okay, out of 133 that were rescued, illegally detained in a Pogo outlet in Pasig City, okay? Right within our beloved city, may Pogo pala na nagkukulong ng mga tao, okay? So that's the main headline of the Philippine Star. At the top of the front page, Britain and the world bid final goodbye to Elizabeth. A photo there of the pallbearers of the remains and the coffin of Queen Elizabeth II, followed by her son, the new King of England, Charles III, and surrounded by several hundreds of dignitaries from all over the world expressing their condolences. And going back to the center part of the front page, next to that Senator's Back Pogo Ban headline, we have a story, U.S. firm eyes $2.5 billion entertainment city in Clark. A gentleman by the name of Jermaine Jackson, representing the Jackson family development and brother of the late Michael Jackson, okay, has written to the Clark Development Corporation about their interest to put up hotels, casino, and a 50,000-seat theater for entertainment so that they can put up a facility there in Clark Freeport Zone. And it remains to be seen because so far it's just a letter and Jermaine Jackson allegedly making the inquiry. Ika nga nila, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay, kasi yung mga ganyan po, marami na tayong nababasa sa balita niyan. I hope that the CDC official would, before making such announcements, would cross-check with the U.S. Embassy trade attaché if this is really something worthy of putting in the front page. Okay. The bottom photo, a photo of President Bongbong Marcos waving to a crowd, into a theater full of Filipinos inside the New Jersey Performing Arts Center last Sunday, where he greeted kababayans and reminisce about his time in New York City and about life there as a student and his romance with his wife, the First Lady, Liza Araneta. Okay, and bottom part of the front page, still Queen Elizabeth laid to rest with full state honors. Yesterday, I got to watch all of the proceedings, all the funeral march to Westminster Abbey, and then to Windsor Castle, the funeral parade or funeral cortege going there. And it was very interesting that it was only a 6-car procession. Hindi po yung daan-daan ng mga kotse na sunod-sunod. After they had done the rites, they drove out and went to Windsor, I think to the family plot. And it's interesting na 3 hagad lang at 6 na kotse. Anyway, our condolences to the people of the United Kingdom, and we join everyone mourning the loss of a great queen. Okay, that's all we have as far as the front page of the Philippine Star is concerned. Let's move on to the main part of the program. And this is going to be quite an interesting interview because those of you who will pay attention will realize that in the Philippines, we barely get a chance to get to know our officials, our politicians, and what happens is that they get into office, they do the job, they leave office, and it's only after they've left office that we discover the more intimate things about their lives, the things that we as people can relate to and makes them human or very interesting. And I suppose that's the same with our guest for today, who we only got to know more about after leaving office, because I suppose it's the irony of being a public official, less known about your private life and more about your public life, the better. But sometimes it's not fair because it is the private life, our achievements in the private life, that gets us into the public office or justifies being in a public position. Anyway, let's get to know our guest. Artistahin na, artistic pa, and I believe, voulez-vous franchir? Okay, let's roll out the Betamax.
Liza Diño-Seguerra served as chairperson and CEO of the Film Development Council of the Philippines from 2016 to 2022. A former beauty queen herself, Liza also has her hands full as an actress, starring in several films and shows, both locally and internationally. Currently, she is also Chief Executive Officer of Fire and Ice Media Productions, a company she founded with her spouse, Ice Seguerra.
Okay, good morning, Liza. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Sir Cito. It's been a while since we last had a chance to have this chit-chat, but thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor.
Yeah, hey, same here. That intro, I meant that intro because it's almost tragic for me that we only discover many of the intimate things about public no longer in office, because I know in the US and in parts of Europe, you cannot take a public position until after all the details about your private life and your achievements has been rolled out or presented to the public. Kumbaga, pinakilala ka na muna bago ka pinaupo sa trono. And with you, when I went through your life story, medyo I didn't know where to start. I mean, you're a chef, you speak French, you are an actress, a beauty queen. But how did life start out with you? Because I mean, I only know you for your work at the film. Ano na nga ba yun?
Development Council
of the Philippines. But before that, okay, to start with, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Marikina. That's where my family lives. And just like I've always wanted to be a lawyer. That was like at 3 years old what I wanted to do. Until after when I got into UP, parang everything changed because I got exposed to theater, I got exposed to acting, and parang my creative side was the one that really propelled me to pursue the things that I did. So the whole lawyer thing. But I've always been a nerd. Like, a lot of people don't know that, but I'm such an overachiever. So I was an honor student growing up. So and then
Teka. Paano ka naging honor student sa UP na nasa theater ka? Kasi I don't know what changed in your generation from mine, But during our time, if you were in theater, yo man, let's chill, you got something to smoke, or let's go for a drink, or theater. Di ba? Puro production na napapabayaan nga kung minsan yung pag-aaral. So, what changed in your, was it possible in your time to be star student while being a star on the stage?
Well, because it was not my course. Kumbaga, my course was speech communications. So, parang cognate course ko yung theater. So, I get to it when I could. And at the time, Sir Tony Mabesa was like, just giving me this opportunity to be part of the play because I'm always late. So parang sabi niya sa akin, oh ayan, para bigyan kita ng 0.25 sa final grade mo, be part of this play. And that's where it started. So I was able to balance both school and theater work. And in theater kasi I'm more of an actress. I wasn't really as much in the behind the scenes. So I was an actress there.
So ang motivation mo was trying to get a grade average and not really to be an actress?
I think in everything I did, it was more of like parang I got into it because I needed to pass. It's really related to academics. So
I'm not judging you, Lisa, because ako, motivation ko noon, gumaling ako sa Spanish dahil nililigawan ko yung teacher ko. Kasing ganda ba naman ng Miss Universe, ba't hindi ko gagawin yon? Anyway, that's too personal, too much information. But okay, in your case, so you took up communications, but was that communications in arts and science or in the what we used to call Institute of Mass Communication?
No, nasa Kala ko. I was in the College of Arts and Letters. So it used to be speech and drama. But now they separated speech communication and theater art. So I took speech communication during my college years. And that's how and then I joined a beauty pageant. So during my third year, that's where I discovered parang I joined a beauty pageant just to get over an ex, just to challenge myself to lose weight. So, so parang, 6 na ikot ako sa ACAD Oval, I really lost weight, and then I eventually won. So parang, I really get into the situations where my motivation is to, I don't know, it's a totally different motivation, and then achieving that specific goal.
Yeah, but was there an underlying issue? I'm sorry to probe, no? Siguro nahahasa lang akong kakapanood ng lahat ng mga international talk show hosts. But you know, you get into theater because of grades. Your life was always about getting the grade. It was all academic focus, and then you lose weight, become a beauty pageant queen just to get over an ex partner or lover or whatever tatawag ko dun. What is politically correct in your generation? Kakatakot na ngayon magsabi kung boyfriend o girlfriend. but anyway, you know, was there an issue at home or was there a trauma in your life that pushed you to becoming a nerd, or you know, did you have the performance spirit because you weren't getting the love or acknowledgement where you wanted it?
Well, now that you're mentioning it, I didn't grow up without. I grew up without parents. My mom was an OFW, and then I didn't live with my dad. But I've always looked up to my dad as a person that would really expose me to politics. You know, he was a barangay captain for like 13 years, ganon. So my memories of him was, whenever there's a topic, we would debate about it, parang ganon. So, but I grew up with it. I matured early. It's because my mom wasn't around, my dad wasn't around. So I think I put it upon myself to make sure that I will achieve what I want. At 16, I was already living by myself and earning on my own. So that kind of led me to a lot of things that I tried just to get by.
Okay, now your dad is Martin Diño, the former Undersecretary for Barangay Affairs, if I'm not mistaken, with the DILG, and frustrated Steven Cignal, clone.
Among other things.
Among
Among other
other-
actors na
Bakit? Sino ba
kamukha
mga
niya.
pantasya sa buhay ng tatay mo? Tara, let's
Kamukha
get
daw siya
even.
ni Altantay. Yan ang mas ano sa kanya, Altantay. Sonny Parsons, lagi rin siyang kino-compare.
Mhm. Okay,
yes.
now I don't know who would be insulted between the two of them. The late Sonny Parsons, who was actually schoolmate ko. Naging yung kuya niya was my kabatch. But anyway, so your parents were not around. Were they separated early on?
Yes, and my dad, 'di ba? Parang I mean, it's not a secret naman that, I have half siblings, 'di ba? So
Mhm.
medyo ano siya, pro-life. So ang dami kong mga kapatid. So
Ay, naku, Lisa. Sasakitan tiyan ko sa iyong bata ka. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions expressed by our guest is not my opinion, particularly regarding Mr. Diño. Okay.
I'm sure he will be okay with it. He always tells me, Papa, ano ka ba? Bakit dami mong anak? Oh, I'm pro-life, okay? I just cute yung perspective ko na ngayon about it.
Okay, so that we laugh at it now. We can make jokes about it, but it must have been a very tough life for you. I mean, who did you end up growing with? I mean, okay, you lived alone at 16, but before that, sino nagpalaki sa'yo?
I grew up with my lola and then eventually my aunt. So we moved with her in Mandaluyong. So from Marikina to Mandaluyong, and that's where, kumbaga, my formative years until high school, I studied in St. Paul College, QC.
Mhm.
And then yun, when I got into college, we got our own apartment, my sister and I.
Okay. Now, UP is a life-changing experience, especially if you came from the St. Paul's College type of facility. Medyo ibang mundo yun.
Culture
What was
shock.
it like for you?
I was never part of a block. And I think that was I've always been on free sked. Lahat ng mga nakuha kong subject pre-rog. Kasi nga, parang I don't know, would you say that I'm a loner in college? Parang ganyan. But I have friends for specific stuff, like I would go out with friends na, okay, meron akong meron akong group ng friends na nasa theater. I also have friends na mahilig mag-debate. Pero I was not part of a block. So I think that's the reason also why I was not, para I finished, natapos ako sa FDCP, sa UP ng alam mo yun, pero wala ka talagang set of friends. Parang, so, yun, I was part of orgs though, parang, just to But I've always been supported by my teacher. So si Sir Wendell Capili was my consentidor. So I don't know if you know him.
In what sense?
So he was the one who said, Lisa, you're a student of life. Just go for it. I would attend his class. I'm sorry, Sir Wendell, hindi ako makakapasok. Okay lang, as long as you're learning from the things that you get into. So
Ayan po mga kaibigan, ang mga natutunan namin sa University of the Philippines. Ako, ang naging professor ko, si Professor Botor ng Spanish Department, who always taught us about the birds, the bees, and finding a partner while in college, while the selection field is wider. Anyway, Lisa, let's go for a quick break. When we come back, I'd like to have a more serious discussion about your transition from theater life in UP to real life, especially in film, etc., because it's something that has been recently brought to my attention. Parang what's happening to Philippine cinema, Philippine drama, etc., our culture, parang left behind na naman. Just when we thought we were moving forward, it seems we are now regressing again. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back with Liza Diño-Seguerra here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. We're having fun with our guest for today, Liza Diño-Seguerra. And Lisa, honestly, you've got so much stuff here on your resume or biodata or what, a life story, if you would. And I don't know where to begin, but okay, everybody knows you as the chairperson of the film development
Council.
council, okay,
Council.
of the Philippines, Film Development Council of the Philippines. But I got the shock of my life when I read that you even became a
Chef.
student ba yun? Le Cordon Bleu School College of Culinary Arts in Hollywood, and honed your mastery of the French and world cuisine. I mean, did I read that wrong? Did you master French or French cuisine?
French cuisine. I studied in Le Cordon Bleu and eventually worked for Wolfgang Puck. So Wolfgang Puck is the caterer of the Oscars, and I worked for his his catering company, and eventually became part of Spago, which is his fine dining restaurant in Beverly Hills, for around 3 years.
Okay, now did you do that because you had the love for culinary arts, you love to cook, etc., or you aspired to be a chef, or were you typical of those people who went to Hollywood, became waiters and waitresses in the hope of getting a break, catching a script or something?
Actually, it's the other way around. I got tired of auditioning because I just gave birth. So I was taking care of my daughter, and then the whole going back into acting thing wasn't working for me. So I tried to rediscover the things that I've always loved doing, and I've always been cooking for friends. It's never something that I ventured into professionally, but I've been cooking all my life. Like I started cooking at 10, and so I've always loved cooking. So when things didn't work out in my auditioning, parang ang hirap maging artista pag may anak ka doon kasi talagang non-stop audition. So I studied as a chef and eventually worked. So I was on the back of the kitchen. So I'm not even in front of the kitchen. I was cooking at yung mga memories ko. I was part of the vegan team for during Anne Hathaway's time, 83rd Academy Awards, I think. I was part of the team cooking her food. Vegan kasi siya. And James Franco. Mga ganyan. So, totally different
Okay, I think I made a mistake there. I jumped to the United States and missed a whole ocean of experiences. Last I was speaking to you, it was about an ex-boyfriend who forced you to go that caused you to prove yourself, lost weight, became a beauty queen. Teka, may connection ba yung theater beauty queen o talagang ipapakita mo lang sa kanya na beauty pageant winner ka?
So yung naging beauty pageant na winner na ako, parang that opened me up to opportunities in television and films. So I became an actor, and siya rin naman nun at the time actor siya. So parang we were living parallel lives, but at least I know na parang I'm already in the industry. But I was
talagang ang lalim na hugot mo, no? Nag-beauty queen ka na para lang to put one on top of him, and then nung nasa TV ka na, parang ako nasa TV, ikaw diyan ka pa rin.
Well, actually, ano din siya. He's actually a very, very awesome actor, film
Okay.
actor.
I will respect his privacy if you don't mind. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so you got into TV. What realization did you have? Because I was just speaking with a very high positioned auto industry executive who came from abroad, and he said, pare, when I got back to the Philippines, I could never get enough of Philippine TV, Philippine drama, etc. I just kept eating it up. After 2 months, I was sick of it because it had reverted back to the sampalan, sigawan, bunutan ng buhok at tapunan ng tubig syndrome. But in your case, you were in theater in UP and then you got into TV. What was it like?
As an actor, or
Your personal experience, realization, was it wow, this is the life, or teka, this is not
no.
how I imagined it?
Yes, actually, it was a roller coaster ride because I was not, hindi ako yung bida eh. Ako yung kapatid ng bida, ako yung kapitbahay ng bida. I was never really the lead actor. So I was a working actress. I would have projects, but never the big ones. So
Okay.
I actually even got frustrated. That's why I became a flamenco dancer. But that's another story.
Yeah, wait a minute. You were a working actress. Many famous individuals I've read about, particularly in the States, are working actors. They're never the bride. They're always the bridesmaid, but they will tell you, "Hey, it's a career. Don't
Yes.
knock it. I have a mansion because of being a working actress. The bidas get the awards, but we have the career and they have a long-term thing." Now, was it the same in the Philippines or medyo behind pa rin talaga?
Well, because we really don't have systems here.
Mhm.
In the US, there's a structure. There are minimum pay scales for actors. So
They have unions.
they have unions. So that was actually my frustration. And when I became part of FDCP, that was my main motivation, is to hopefully be able to change the working conditions of our workers here and create a structure that would enable a more conducive environment to see it as a sustainable career compared to where we are now, na parang isang project, isang tuka, parang ganyan.
Is it still possible, given that the Philippines now, whether it's film or television, in terms of drama and all those sort of stuff, is much like the 50s in America or even the 40s, where the moguls, the studio owners, theater owners controlled everything?
Until that changes, it's gonna be hard for us to, kasi there was a move. I mean, the whole studio system didn't work eventually, and that was like 1948, 1950. So right now, na-democratize yung actors working for different production companies because they saw how it's stifling the film industry. But right now with us, I mean, I would say that in a way, the closure of ABS-CBN is forcing these mergers to happen. And they're able to look outside of the system of kanya-kanyang production. But unless we really professionalize in the sense that from our actors, there's a structure to minimum standards when it comes to safety, and at the same time, even in distribution, there are policies and guidelines.
But whatever
that
whatever happened to all those actor turned politicians, children of actors becoming politicians? I mean, one would imagine that with so many actors and actresses' children in the Senate and in Congress, one would imagine that all of this would be changed. Were you not able to have this dialogue, this kind of discussion with these politicians, or are they in a different world all to their own?
Well, most of our actor politicians din kasi are producers. So siguro,
boy.
in a way, di ba? I mean,
Sorry, this is a free-for-all show, Lisa. I don't give a flying whatever regarding these things, but I mean, that's tragic. If you have the lawmaker is the actor, is the producer. I hope to God they're not also the talent managers, or have they also become that?
I wouldn't say talent managers, but more of, they produce their own projects and productions. I mean, that's a known
Mhm.
fact among all the existing production companies that we have, diba?
Mhm.
And they do their tentpole films. Single equity kasi yung sistema natin dito sa Pilipinas. Hindi katulad in other countries that co-production is a norm. So you invest more with minimum risk, and you make better films. You're able to create better films. So I
Yeah,
think
you like have the actor, the scriptwriter, the producer, you have the studio, you have the banks, etc., and they
yes.
all have to work together.
Yes, so that's a clear horizontal system.
Mhm.
Sa atin, it's vertical din eh, 'di ba? Some of the producers are also distributors of their content.
Mhm.
So, nagkakaroon ng monopoly, nagkakaroon ng disparity, and an unfair advantage for those who are able to, secure cinemas, as many cinemas as they could, compared to like an independent producer that does not have the same access.
So, what was your biggest challenge and frustration when you were the chairperson of the Film Development Council of the Philippines? I mean, I'm sure when you went in there with rose-tinted glasses, oh, I'm going to do this. What were those things that you thought you were going to do, and then you got a bucket of cold water poured on you?
It's really the how everyone is working ng kanya-kanya. Parang they're all in silos. Parang may kanya-kanya silang sistema, and um walang wala yung nagsasabing, okay, we have to do this together as one industry, because yung optics sa labas, pag hindi mukha pa ring amateur yung mga players,
Mhm.
because it's not it doesn't adhere to like international standards. We won't have the same investments that, for example, Korea gets, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
mas klaro yung systems nila. Makikita mo doon, may data talaga. Pag gumawa sila ng pelikula, alam nila saan nag-work, anong demographic, anong klaseng content, anong klaseng genre. Because they have that system that really gives a real-time result of every single film that comes out in cinemas. Tayo, we're so territorial about these things. We don't see the benefit of a a data that can work for everyone. Now we have
It's
a
like
baseline.
you're either for us or against us. Either kapuso ka o kapamilya ka o kamag-anak ka o kakampi ka. There is no such thing as sama-sama tayo dito.
Na kumbaga, may kanya-kanya tayong agenda, of course, that's normal. But we have a standardized system that we are all following. And that's so important kasi, especially if you're looking at a professionalizing an industry.
How do you merge, or how do you put together, because when you were talking about kanya-kanyang agenda, everybody has an agenda. My thought was, well, why don't we make it our agenda that everybody profits? Kumbaga, lahat kumita. Everybody makes money about film and television. But isn't that enough reason that it becomes profitable? Because when it's profitable, everybody wants to buy in.
The mentality here is survival of the fittest, diba? For example, right now, we in order to survive, we started
Mhm.
making sex themed films because it sells. But if you look at the situation from outside, budgets of films have decreased. 5 million to make a film. I mean, meron kang hindi binabayaran, 'di ba? Ng tama.
5
So,
million, pambili lang ng Land Cruiser ng producer yun.
so yun yung siguro parang it's still a very producer driven industry. So unless we also create standards and systems that would also benefit, at least protect
Where would
the
you
workers.
begin, Lisa? Because it's like if I give you a list of what feedback I get, first would be, pare, let's improve naman the quality of actors and actresses in the Philippines. Let's not base it on who has the highest number of followers on social media or who has the best shaped body, etc. But is that a good place to start? Like
Yes.
acting schools?
Yes.
Do we have enough resources to at least put up one acting school? And can an acting school that produces real talent send them off to real careers? Or here's a diploma, actress, actor ka na, pero sorry na lang, maghanap ka ng trabaho.
Sir Cito, you hit it on the nail. As in, we need to normalize training here. Ang problema sa atin, hindi natin sineseryoso yung trabaho ng mga artista. Ako as an artista, this is a craft for me. And again, being an overachiever, I've taken all the techniques available. But here, parang training, sanay sila na parang, ayun nga, star, kung sino yung star, kung sino yung ano. So hindi nila, they don't take it seriously. So it really needs to start with development, developing projects, developing talent, developing skills, upgrading and elevating technical skills of our workers. So
how does Korea
investment
do?
on that.
Sorry, Lisa. How does Korea do it? Does Korea put up schools, training centers? Does Korea pay for the? Because may nagsabi sa akin, one of the hit Filipino bands that is into K-pop, nabasa ko lang to sa Facebook, my dear, they underwent 3 years of training with a Korean mentor on K-pop. And now they're apparently in the top 20 of international talents for K-pop. Do you know anything about how Korea does it?
Yes, sir. They actually have schools. They start them young. Of course, it has its effects kasi parang at some point in their careers, talagang may expiration date yung relevance or yung kasikatan ng mga K-pop stars. But it's really an academy. So everyone, kumbaga, lumalaki sila knowing that they should go through training, rigorous training growing up. It's an industry. Kumbaga, may market talaga sila doon. And the government understands that they need to invest on education. They need to invest
and it's not just a song and dance routine.
No.
They're also taught about discipline, about nutrition, about the value of traditional education, and of course finance. I suppose.
Yes, even aesthetics. Ang kulang siguro sa atin yung taste making natin. Kasi we are talented. Totoo naman.
Go for it. Because, that frustrates me. I join your frustration there, Lisa. Every time you watch American Idol, AGT, etc., all of these judges say, you're from the Philippines. Well, that makes sense. That figures. The Filipinos are so talented. And yet, it's the Koreans that are being watched by Filipinos. Filipinos are spending money to watch Koreans. And it's not happening for Filipinos.
Because I think we are talented, but it's raw talent. And just like any raw talent that we have, we're so lucky. It's so organic in us. You need to fine-tune it. You need to polish it. You really need to understand how you can elevate that. It's just like, di ba, okay, diamond in the rough, di ba? Kailangan, para gumanda at makita mo yan, kailangan mo talagang linisin, i-polish. And I feel like sometimes, naro-romanticize pa natin yung we're naturally amazing, we're naturally good. Self-taught tayo, ang galing natin. But at the end of the day, yes, ang galing, Pilipino talagang resourceful, but education is important. Upgrading, benchmarking your skills is so important.
Well, you're not going to have a Lea Salonga if Lea Salonga didn't go through all of those training, schooling, and years of I mean, she was what, 6 years old or 8 years old when I first saw her, and she was only studying back then.
Yes. Yes. So if we really see the value of studying, getting into training and embracing that process, yung aesthetics natin, yung level ng ano natin, nagkakaroon siya ng ano eh, nagkakaroon siya ng nade-define mo siya. Hindi yung kalulad sa atin, parang wido lahat.
Mhm.
So I hope that, you know, and that was the plan. I was we when I was still with FDCP, that was the plan. We were supposed to bring Ivana Chabak here. She's an amazing, very known Hollywood acting coach, so that, you know, we can bring in all of these top actors to show the industry that even us, we want to embrace this, because lately a lot of our actors are actually getting noticed and are part of international projects like Dolly De Leon and Soliman Cruz. Ano yan sila? Theater. Talagang nag-aral. So,
Mhm.
it pays off.
Why is it? When when I was thinking about you last night, tamo naman, I was thinking of you. No, why is it that when Filipinos make films abroad, like yung kay Jokoy, ano ba yun? Easter Sunday ba yun or
Yeah.
something? And then the one of with Princess Punsalan, the cleaning lady, etc. Why is it that when they make movies abroad and you have all of these Filipino Americans or American actors with Filipino roots, they make it there, okay, hindi sila yung top of the top, pero but why is it that here it doesn't get noticed? But when you bring those products to the Philippines, everybody wants to watch Jokoy. Everybody wants to watch whatever. What are we doing wrong? Is it just a weird sense of values or twisted sense of values or misappreciation?
Siguro because yun nga, parang meron din, sometimes we tend to, meron din tayong ugali na parang, oy, dapat galing sa Pilipinas. Pilipino ka pag talagang galing ka sa Pilipinas. May ganun tayo. So pag
Hindi kaya, isn't it a thing of marketing, Lisa, or promotions? Because that seems to be the name of the game now all over the world. The movie, the song, the play that gets marketed heavily becomes the hit.
Yeah, I mean, look at Made in Malacanang. Diba? It's really it's been talked about, whether you are for or against, you would watch it because you got curious. So because they marketed it really well. So I agree. And even that's also a challenge for a lot of our
No, natawa ko because you couldn't have picked on a better example. Parang kaliwa kanan, nag-away silang lahat. Ayun, sumikat tuloy yung pelikula.
Yeah.
Diba? They didn't even have to spend so much money promoting it. Okay, we have to go for a quick break, Lisa. But when we come back, what are your future plans? What can we do about the situation? And please, if those famous acting coaches come, sama mo naman ako. Baka makahabol pa ako. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, final 6 minutes here on Agenda with Liza Diño-Seguerra. And Lisa, we were talking about our frustrations about theater, movies, television. Now, you've been in the Film Development Council. What are the things that you want to fulfill or accomplish, having left the office already based on tenure? You now move on. What are your future plans?
Well, to walk the talk, those years of evangelizing, a different approach in making films, making sure that we are investing money on the projects, we are giving appropriate and enough time for development. We are really looking at the bigger picture and the bigger market, taste making in terms of films that are more of global quality and export quality rather than making do with, ito yung pera so gumawa ka ng pelikula na mag-a-adjust ka dun sa binigay lang na budget. It's the other way around in other countries. They really figure out how much is the cost and they make the films according to that, because it's that's how you will sustain and get people to watch. I would love to be part of that would hopefully trailblaze these kind of the kind of filmmaking na we need, a new approach in filmmaking.
But does it have to be film, Lisa? Or, I mean, 10 years ago, everybody kept saying, all you need is an iPhone. Then they came up with that, what was it? Was that a 10-minute movie or a 7-minute movie of a horror story that wasn't really used? Huh?
Blair Witch.
Yeah, Blair Witch Project. And everybody's saying, pare, gamitin mo lang yung iPhone mo, filmmaker ka na. It's really about the script writing, about the content and the concept and knowing your market. Is that something, or should we really just, if you're going to go big?
It depends on the film. I mean, for example, right now you see on Netflix documentary series are really becoming popular. I mean, and in terms of value, yung value ng mga docus, mas malaki yung retention nila, hindi bumababa. Kasi yung syndication, yung watching it all over, hindi katulad pag pelikula, after mo palabas na yan, pababa na yung value niya, depending on the platforms. So for me, it's really exploring all of these various ways of creating content, whether that's animation, whether that's documentary, whether it's film, or even series, which is right now, mas attracted yung mga platforms doon kasi mas mahaba yung viewing di ba? Kasi you actually make money from the clicks and how long does a viewer, yung eyeball ng isang viewer sa isang content. So I feel that we should really embrace these new ways of making films and create films. If we need to engage, if we need to do a co-production, if we need to cost it out in a way where whether mura pa yan or mahal, it's really on the quality. And ang maganda lang talaga kasi dito, may minimum technical requirements na for quality control ang mga streamers. So even if you are a filmmaker that wants to just make your film, you have to be mindful of these requirements. Otherwise, your film is not going to sell.
The talent, the technology, the expertise are here, but am I right in saying what we have to reinvent is what we think is the right subject matter or perspective? Because pag dito kaliwa, kanan, patayan, etc., the subject matter or the focus. Because I mean, like you're right about documentaries. I watch nothing now except documentaries or talk shows. Talk shows to hone my skills or understand how the craft is done better or how the system works in America. Documentaries because you cannot give out if you do not take in. But in the Philippines, tradition, SOP na yun, sabihin siya, Lisa naman, ang mga scriptwriters dito at saka mga storytellers, puro na lang sampalan, ahasan, kaliwaan, etc.
I think this new trend of adaptation,
Mhm.
some Korean content, sana ang mangyari is it's for it to inspire diversity. Na,
Mhm.
okay. If I make this kind of film, it's not the normal, magkambal na nagkahiwalay tas nagkita ulit. I mean, meron kang maki-create na audience. So I think our producers just need to really take that risk to explore more content and storylines
Mhm.
and believe that this is where we are now. This is the viewers are ready. The viewers are ready to watch these kinds and consume this kind of content. Na hindi
Mhm.
lang kasi nakikita mo naman sa mga comments nila na parang, oh, ayan na naman, magkapatid na naman na nagkapatayan, di ba? So, we just need
You
to.
know, I hope I don't get shot for this idea, but and look, I respect everybody. I try to live with everybody, but someone did. I had this idea. Why don't we just put five people with different persuasions in a car and make them travel from Ilocos down to Mindanao? I'm sure you will have a full series and what reflecting their religion, their sexual tendency, their economics, and their frustration. Yun lang, story na yun di ba?
Exactly. So, may lahat 'yan merong kumbaga sa Hollywood, meron yang ano yung mga road trip film. So, 'di ba?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a procedural. I'm gonna make a road trip film. I'm gonna make a coming of age film. Because these are formulas that they may be formulas, but if you come up with something that's very localized sa atin or something that's unique, it's gonna work. But tayo parang yun, naging isa na lang yung themes
Mhm.
natin. So I
Okay.
think we just need to expand the theme.
Well, I think I'm going to be inviting you back one of these days because I know how frustrating it is to network and to get people of a certain level of thinking who are exposed to become visionaries and to look beyond their current life and see what can be. But anyway, Lisa, thank you so much for making it to the program today. And you do not disappoint. And I do hope that your wishes do come true. And I mean it. Pag dumating yung mga acting coaches, wag mo kong kakalimutan.
You're top of mind.
Okay. Have a great day, Lisa. Regards to your
Sure.
partner, and of course to your family. God bless you. Take care. Okay, that's Liza Diño-Seguerra. And now let's go to our blessing for the week. And it is from the book of James, chapter 1, verses 6 to 7. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. I leave you with this blessing to believe, and you will receive. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News.